Hi, I'd ordered a pair of Magnum Raptor 8 inches black boots for myself, but there was a fault with that pair, so I had to send the boots back. And today I've received another pair from the same seller as replacement. So this is the box. To save time, I'll first tear open the box and then carry forward. So I've got the box out. The box is in decent condition. Considering the distance that it has traveled, I am impressed that it has managed to retain its shape. Okay, so sizing information. The boot is a US 11, EU 44 and UK 10. UK 10 in Magnum is close to about 10.5 of other European brands, just for reference if somebody is wondering. Also, it gives out the information of the design. It says Raptor LTE, which is probably light, 8.0, that is the height of the boot, and SZ for side zip. Black color, a picture of the boot. This says that it's got a comfortable EVA midsole. This says that it's got a zipper. This says that it's able to breathe. This says that it's got a molly system on the boot, which is more or less a gimmick, but yes, it can be used. And this says that the boot is lightweight. What does this say? Okay, so this says that it is abrasion resistant. Why is it abrasion resistant? Because the boot has a rubber upper where the high abrasion areas are there, and leather is not there, so it is relatively more abrasion resistant than other boots. Okay, so this is how the boot is packed inside. Let's take it out. Okay, so the first pair had a major problem with the toe area of the boot, but in this pair I find that the toes are okay. There was a problem in the other pair, as in when the upper and the sole of the boot had been pasted, they had been not put right and pasted, because of which there was a twist in the sole and in the upper also, which would have felt strange underfoot. I think it was in the left boot of the previous one. So here I don't find that problem, at least initially. The boots seem to be okay. I think I'm going to retain these. So coming on to the boot specific, the boot has got a 3-layer sole, which I always prefer. It's got a rubber outsole, which is this part, and it's got a decent thickness. I would say that the thickness in places is close to about 7 to 8 mm, which is pretty good. That means that even when the lugs start wearing out, there is enough of the lugs to remain. The rubber is soft. It's got some branding which says MD traction on the side. Also, Magnum has got their own branding here on the sole. Other boots generally come with the Vibram outsoles, but however, this sole also I find is quite decent. The lug pattern is fairly spread out, which will prevent it from holding on to mud and grime. And also you will notice that the lug patterns are not very steep. They have this slope on the sides, so this will further allow it to get rid of mud and not hold on to too much of mud, even if you step into a puddle. Also, the lug pattern is flat at the base, so even though it's got a very aggressive lug pattern for outdoors, but when you're indoors, the lug pattern is quite flat. So even when you're walking indoors, it has a decent amount of traction, at least when it is new. And that is very much required of modern tactical boots, because you may be required to use the boots indoors also as well as outdoors. I already have this pair in. I already have a similar pair of the similar design in green color, which is also okay. But black I find is able to lend itself to various other usages also, as in it goes with more uniforms and can be worn in civil dress also. So that is why I went ahead and bought myself a black pair also. So we've already spoken of the outsole. The outsole also is stitched up front to give it more life in addition to the pasting. But however, there is a small problem. The thread is already coming out, and this is absolutely a new boot. So considering the price that I pay for this, this should not happen. Also on the rear again, the outsole has been brought up and stitched to the rear of the boot, so which is a good thing. It will prevent the boot from delaminating, or the sole from delaminating from the upper very soon. The second layer of the sole, and which is very important, is this EVA foam. This is the second layer of the boot, or the midsole. This is where the major component of comfort comes of this boot, and so I'm pretty happy with this. It's soft enough while not being too soft. And then on the inside is a softer compound of EVA, which the boot has. Normally the insoles can be pulled out, but I never pull them out because they are stuck onto the sole of the boot. And if you happen to pull out the insoles, then over a period of time they may start shifting inside the boot while you're wearing them, which is never a good thing. So it has a EVA insole also, which will give it a softish feel underfoot. It has got Magnum branding. The insole has got Magnum branding, but it's just another EVA insole, but nothing wrong with it. Also on the inside, you will find that there is a mesh pattern. On the inside, there is a mesh pattern on the entire boot, or on the inside of the entire boot. So this allows for some softness also, and does allow some bit of perspiration also to escape, because it is supposed to breathe. This mesh design, which is soft, is actually designed to help the boot breathe. Every time it compresses and decompresses, it causes some ventilation, or at least that is how they call it. But in this boot specifically, they have also given these vents, and I'm in a very temperate climate presently, where I find that these boots actually breathe much better than my other boots. So that is it about the outsole, midsole and the insole. Now coming on to the upper of the boot. So a lot of hiking footwear actually has this rubber. This is all rubber. So a lot of hiking footwear actually has this rubber rand all across the boot, which is supposed to give abrasion resistance, because rubber obviously, if it rubs against something, the leather will not get spoiled, and the leather is generally inside, the rubber is outside in most of the hiking boots. So what Magnum has done is that they've straight away given a rubber upper to the boot, and there is no leather. Then thereafter it's all synthetic, and this is doesn't seem like a very thick synthetic, but however it should have about a decent life. Only problem is the stitches should not come off. As far as stitches are concerned, it's got 3-layer stitching, so which obviously means that the quality of stitching should be, even if it's decent, not very good, but because it's got 3 layers of stitching or 3 rows of stitching, so it should not tear very easily. The rubber on the upper goes all the way behind also. It's got some Magnum branding, and I really like the fact that it's not in your face, it's very subdued, which is always good. Also to give some additional support in the tear area, because when you're walking, this is the part which flexes most and faces a lot of pressure. So they've given some reinforcement in the form of these synthetic strips here and in the upper also, which is always a good thing. On the inside you will find a Y-kick zipper, which is to give easy ingress and egress from the boot. This is always a good thing. However, in this particular kind of or in this Raptor, I found that the zips don't come down very well, and so the amount of space that they create when you open the zip and try and put your feet inside is not enough. So invariably you will have to open the laces also. The only part of the boot which feels like leather, this may be PU leather, I'm not very sure, is this part where the laces have been attached and stitched onto the boot. This is the only part which has got some leather, and also some part behind this strip. This could be leather, and this could be leather. So these are the only 2 leather parts of the boot. The rest of the boot is all synthetic. The laces in the lower part are standard eyelets, 4 of them, and then above that, this is a loop with a roller. We call it speed lacing. and so the upper part of the boot has got all speed lacing, and this roller actually helps quite a bit, because then the when you pull the lace here, it's actually quite smooth. So which is a good design feature, and speed lacing is always good. I find it quite preferable, at least for myself. There is some more stitching which I find is coming off here next to the eyelet. There is some more stitching coming off. Not a good thing, especially for a new boot. Not a good thing. So all in all, the quality of the boot looks pretty good. Yes, in this boot there is something called a molly system which they've put. So if you used a backpack with a molly system before, where you put magazines, so they've got these pouches which can be attached to this molly system. So what happens is, these pouches have got these straps. You put the strap inside on the pouch, from one side to the other. You put it inside, and then those are clip buttons. You just put the clip button on, and the molly or the molly strap will then hold on to your pouches or anything else that you want to put inside. If you want to put a knife, or you want to put anything inside which is longish and has a clip on it, that will also stay on this. Is it a gimmick? No, this can be used. I will not call it a gimmick. It can be used. So I think it's a good feature that they've given. Absolutely. The YKK zippers are supposed to be quality zippers, so they will have a decent amount of life. They are completely synthetic, not iron ones or not non-metallic ones. And on the top, to further enhance the life of the zipper, they have given this Velcro also, so that you can close it and prevent pulling on the zipper. The rear has got these strips to hold on to the laces if you want to put your laces through them. These are also there, which is a good design feature. The laces quality on this boot is pretty decent. In the other green pair that I've been using, I find that if you tie the laces once, it remains tight. It doesn't come undone like the lower boots that I own, where the laces keep coming undone. I face a similar problem with the Salmon Quest 4D also of mine. So with this, at least I don't face that problem, which is a good thing. I think any laces which are slightly soft tend to tie up much stronger and remain tight, because they are softer. They kind of give a hold to each other when they are tied up. All in all, I'm really liking the design of the boot. Some of the threads are coming loose already, or are coming off. Those I'll have to burn so that they hold on to themselves. Subsequently, I'm going to start wearing this boot, and color black I think I should be able to use in many more uniforms and in other dresses also. So am I happy with this? I'm happy with this. The pricing, I'm not going to tell you the pricing right now, but you can search it online. The pricing I think is quite steep for what the boot offers. This is a completely synthetic boot. It doesn't have any leather. I think it can be much cheaper. But do I like the boot? Yes, I like the boot. Somebody who like me is going to use it on a regular basis. I think I can justify the cost to myself. That is all. Thank you.